separated your deep ball from everybody else?
My deep ball, it has a little secret sauce to it, man.
Never get too high, never get too low, but just keep moving.
The whole story is Carlos never beat me in any kind of sports in high school.
So you mentioned that Trae Waynes, you like him for this team. A lot of people, I would probably say I don't have a problem with Trae Waynes at all, right? But most people have a problem with the money that he was paid. What are just your thoughts on like the Bengals with the contracts with their big players and how they, I guess, match up with other teams around the league? Are they overpaying or, what are they doing there?
Yeah, I think there is a little bit of that. I mean, with Waynes, like he's a good player, he's a former first-round pick. Those were successful Vikings teams and very good defenses. But, I do think $14 million a year was a bit much for him. I would say in their defense, though, kind of right after he signed, he was maybe one of the bigger, free agents at corner. And then we saw like the Jalen Ramsey deal roll in, the Marlon Humphrey deal roll in. So for all we know, he kind of saw that coming. And so even though he signed in a lower market, he really may have said, hey, look, I know these deals are coming in the future that are way above my number. So yeah, I think it was a little bit rich, but nothing crazy. I would say Trey Hendrickson kind of falls in the same boat. I think it was a little bit too much money. But not so much that it's going to, impact them spending elsewhere or that you knock it too much, just maybe, a little bit rich.
You brought up two really, really good points. One is the one that always comes to my mind when I look at the Trae Waynes one. Am I just not looking at this correctly? And a lot of fans look at this too. The Byron Jones money at the time, I know you probably don't have this like right in front of you or anything like that. It didn't seem that much of a difference for the number one corner on the market. Then Trae Waynes, like you said, is a fine player. But like, do you remember like the workings of that contract or like how do those compare?
That's a good point. Yeah. So Byron Jones was the top guy that year and got $16.5 million per year.
Right.
That's right. So 14.
Right. Is it that simple? Like it's just
right.
2.5. Like it's got to be something I'm missing, right?
I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it. Jones's guarantees were stronger. Also, he's going to, South Beach versus, Cincinnati. So maybe there's a little bit of, you're trying to sell the player on joining the club. But yeah, I think a lot of his projection, also something I always say too, which is that, look, your draft status never escapes you as a player. Trae Waynes is I think he was the 11th overall pick in the draft. And we know that doesn't matter once you're a 5-year veteran, but when you hit the market, it still matters. So he's still commanding near top dollar because he says, look, I could, bounce back and be a top corner because I'm 27, 28 years old and I have the athletic ability to be a top, 12 pick. So you kind of pay for that upside and that potential, even if, maybe it's not really there.
Yeah.
You talk about go ahead.
I'm sorry. Players like Darquez Denard, who was a former first round, I feel like he's still just getting on teams just because of his first round pedigree.